Welcome to a review of chi-square tests of independence. I am Mark Ratliff, a doctoral student at California Intercontinental University, and I will be leading our discussion. The agenda for our discussion includes an overview of the data used, a review of the chi-square tests, key takeaways, and an opportunity for questions. We begin with the overview. Data is sourced from a SurveyMonkey questionnaire delivered to participants in the Midwest United States. The 150 responses provided information from the respondents on 9 total variables. Of these 9 variables, 3 were used in chi-square tests of independence, including the following variables: num-cars, or the number of car payments per month; num-defaults, or the total number of defaults incurred; and LIC comfort, or the respondent's comfort level with his or her current financial situation. The last variable uses a Likert scale where 0 equals very uncomfortable to 4 equals very comfortable. 3 different combinations of the variables were tested. The first test conducted measured whether a relationship exists between the number of monthly car payments and the total number of defaults. The null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between monthly car payments and number of defaults. The alternative hypothesis states that there is a relationship between the 2 variables. Using PSPP and assuming a significance level of 0.05, the chi-square statistic of 9.70 and a p-value of 0.375 were calculated. Because the p-value is greater than the significance level, we fail to reject the null hypothesis and conclude that no significant relationship exists between monthly car payments and number of defaults. The second test conducted measured whether a relationship exists between comfort level with the financial situation and the total number of defaults. The null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between financial comfort level and number of defaults. The alternative hypothesis states that there is a relationship between the 2 variables. Using PSPP and assuming a significance level of 0.05, the chi-square statistic of 9.70 and a p-value of 0.375 were calculated. Because the p-value is greater than the significance level, we fail to reject the null hypothesis and conclude that no significant relationship exists between financial comfort level and number of defaults. The third test conducted measured whether a relationship exists between number of car payments and comfort level with the current financial situation. The null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between monthly car payments and financial comfort level. The alternative hypothesis states that there is a relationship between the 2 variables. Using PSPP and assuming a significance level of 0.05, the chi-square statistic of 450 and a p-value of 0.000 were calculated. Because the p-value is less than the significance level, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that a significant relationship exists between monthly car payments and financial comfort level. A significant result necessitates a test for strength of the relationship using Cramer's V, noted as V on the slide, which we have calculated as 1.00. The result from Cramer's V of 1.00 represents a very rare result in which the independent variable perfectly predicts the dependent variable. We then add to our result that the Cramer's V of 1.00 indicates a perfectly symmetrical relationship between variables. Key takeaways from the chi-square tests include the following. A significant and perfectly symmetrical relationship exists between number of car payments and financial comfort. The p-value, compared to the significance level, determines if a significant relationship exists between the two variables. A p-value greater than the significance level means we fail to reject the null hypothesis and state that no relationship exists between variables. A p-value less than the significance level means that we reject the null hypothesis and state that a relationship exists between variables. In the latter scenario, as with the car payments and financial comfort variables, a significant relationship requires a test for strength of the relationship. We use Cramer's V to identify the strength of the relationship between variables. Cramer's V returns a result between 0 and 1, with 0 identifying an extremely weak relationship, and 1 identifying a perfectly symmetrical relationship. We conclude our discussion with the opportunity to ask questions in the comments section. I am Arch Ratliff, and I thank you for viewing this presentation on the chi-square test of independence.